Good morning, year fours. Our maths lesson today is to continue to look at fractions. So we're going to add fractions today. And our success criteria is to recognize fractions, to add the numerators, draw models to help us add, and to problem solve. So to begin with, we will look at our starter. So pause the video now and do your Fast 5 starter. Okay, well done. And these are your answers. Okay, and some of the vocabulary that we'll need today are words like addition, so we need to know what it means to add, to recall the numerator and the denominator, to know what a fraction is, that it's a part of a whole, and then to know the vocabulary whole and parts. So to begin with, I'd like you to draw a circle on a piece of paper and to divide it into equal quarters, so into 4 parts. Okay, and then I'd like you to color in 1/4 blue and color in 2/4 red. Now, if you don't have blue or red, you could do just different pictures in each quarter. So for example, you could do dots in 1/4, and then you could do lines like this to show me 2/4. Okay, so just pause the video and then draw your quarters in a circle and then shade 1/4 in blue and 2/4 in red. Okay, so you should have something that looks similar to this. So if you've got blue and red, you should have 1/4 in blue and 2/4 in red. If you haven't got blue or red, you should have something looking like this with different colorings in your quarters. Okay, so now the question is, how many quarters have we colored in? Okay, we've colored in 3 quarters. So we've got 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Okay, so how would we show that in a number sentence? So normally when we're adding, so this is where our vocabulary of addition comes in. So normally if we're adding numbers, we just have 2 numbers with an addition sign and then the equals. We need to work out the answer. So how would we show that with fractions? So have a think about that, pause the video and see if you can write the addition sentence for this, what we've just done, but using fractions. Okay, so the first thing we did was we shaded in a quarter. So we could write out 1/4. Then we added 2/4, that was red. And then we count them all together because the question was how many quarters are colored in. So we don't have to worry about this quarter because we didn't color it in. But these are the 3 that we colored in. So we've got 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So the answer is 3/4. Okay, it's also really important to notice that we don't add the bottom numbers. We don't add the denominator. So the answer is not going to be 3/8. We leave the denominator the same because the answer is still in quarters. We don't have 8s here. So that doesn't change. Okay, so if we look at our next picture, I would like you to add the part of the fraction which is shaded. So again, I would like you to write a number sentence with fractions to show how you would add the parts that are shaded of this shape. And some questions to think about is what fraction do we have? So in the previous slide, we had quarters. What fraction do we have now? Then what is shaded and what number sentence can I create? So pause the video and write down the number sentence and use those questions to help you. Okay, so first of all, what fraction do we have? We've got 8s. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this shape is divided into 8s. So what is shaded? So if we look at the orange, we've got 1, 2, 3, 8 shaded. So that's the first number that we're going to add, 3/8. Okay, then we're going to add the next color that was shaded, which is only 1/8. And then we've got to add the shaded together. So we shaded 4/8 of that shape. And again, you can see the denominator stayed the same. So we've still got 8, but the numerator changes. So 3 add 1 is 4. Okay, so now have a look at these shapes, and I'd like you to write the sum for the shaded parts of each shape. So how do we add up what parts have been shaded? So pause the video now and have a go at those. Okay, excellent. So if we have a look at our answers, we can see that 1/4 was red, so we wrote that down. 3/4 was blue, so we wrote that down, and then we have to add 1/4 plus 3/4, and we got 4/4 or 1 whole. And we can see that 1 whole of the shape has been shaded. Okay, in this one, we had 3/5 in purple and 1/5 in green. We don't have to worry about the white because that wasn't shaded. So 3/5 plus 1/5 equals 4/5. And again, we're not adding the denominator because the answer is still in fifths. Okay, so sometimes you won't get a shape to show up when you are having an addition question. Sometimes you will only have the fractions. So of course you can draw models to help you add, but have a go at adding these fractions without a model. So pause the video now and have a go at that. Okay, so the first one, we've got 3/7 plus 2/7. The answer was 5/7. Again, we're not adding the denominator. So 2/6 plus 3/6 is 5/6. 6/9 plus 2/9 is 8/9. And then the last one, 5/12 plus 6/12 was 11/12. Okay, another way that you might see it add in fractions is through a part whole model. So we know that these two circles are the parts. So we've got 2/6 and 3/6. And if we had to add those together, we would get the answer. So have a think about what would go in the whole circle. Pause the video and draw the model and fill in your answer. Okay, excellent. And our answer was 5/6. Okay, and then lastly, you might get a word problem where you need to add fractions together as well. So Tim eats 3/10 of a cake and Sam eats 5/10 of a cake. What fraction of the cake do they eat all together? So again, you could always draw a model to help you, but how are you going to find the answer? And remember, you also need an answer sentence as well. So pause the video now and have a go at that question. Okay, excellent. So what we would do first is you could draw a model. So you would have to draw any model, but I normally draw a bar model. And then you'd have to split that model into tenths. And try, of course, to get it as equal as possible because fractions have got to be split into equal parts. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, your 4s. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it says that Tim eats 3/10. So we can shade 3/10, and then write down 3/10 because that is what he ate. Okay. And then we know that Sam eats 5/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/10. So we can write that down. And because we want to know how much they eat all together, we're going to add those fractions together. And at this stage, we don't have to worry about those two because those two parts of the cake were not eaten. We just want to know how much Tim and Sam ate all together. So we add 3/10 plus 5/10, which will be 8/10. Okay, and then of course, like every word problem, we need an answer sentence. So Tim and Sam ate 8/10 of the cake together. Okay, excellent. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go onto Microsoft Teams and complete the quiz on adding fractions. Have fun and enjoy the lesson, and we'll see you tomorrow.